So I know.
Yeah, don't do it. Okay, you're a big cheese.
Mike sit. Tell me he's ready.
Oh yeah, let me remember I have to take the minutes, so write the minutes down. Okay, I'm ready.
All right, we'll call to order the meeting of the Wardell Park and Rec Commission, Crestbrook Golf Course Subcommittee on Thursday, June 6th at 6:02 p.m. with a roll call. Kevin Rosa. Pat Rinaldi emailed me earlier stating he would be out until the full commission meeting. Public participation. Restaurant tonight, right? Okay. I move to approve the minutes from May 2nd, 2024.
I don't think you do that with only 2 people.
Yeah, I can second. I'll second it. We only have 3, so yeah. So then all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Correspondence. Mike, give us the golf tournament, season passes, and then our Golf Now Commission, which is for, well, it goes back to 2022, but so back in March, we had a commission of $306.03. And then in April, it was $1,500.80, $80.84, which is up a little bit, up $70 from the year before, but that's all for our tea time, online tea times, as everybody knows. The golf season passes, it's 167, which is running down from last year. I have one question on the CB tournaments. Is the solo, Mike, you know anything about the Solo Cup tournament? Is that a new name for a tournament, or is that a new tournament that came in? It's listed as September 22nd.
The name of the tournament?
Solo Cup.
My apologies.
That's the only one I don't recognize.
Okay, here.
I was just curious. It was for 76 people, so it's a Sunday at noon, so it doesn't have to come before us. But I was just curious as to where it was. So
okay. And so you were worried about memberships?
Yes, memberships.
Sure, let me see it.
Golf Now commissions. And I just asked about that one tournament. That's it. That's all that was in our packet. So I'll move on to the reports. The chairman report, which is myself. Golf season's full swing. I will say, having played up there this week, that course in the last 2 weeks has dried out immensely. It's in great shape. The guys are doing great. I noticed the new, I'm seeing number 2, which is the old 11, if you want to look at it, the new sidewalk they rebuilt going up to the tee box. The guys are doing it last Wednesday, did a beautiful job on it. So that's good to see. It's good to see those little touch-ups.
Where are you talking about, Ken?
Hole 2.
The stairs?
The stairs, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just want, just to acknowledge it. And they did also all the lot of gardening around the clubhouse and out in front of there. So they're doing a good job. I don't know if we're doing it or if Marty's.
Team effort.
Team effort, okay.
That was just took the thunder from my report.
Sorry.
It's okay.
There's really not much more. We're just in golf. We're in golf season, and play's been brisk from what I'm hearing. Weather's been beautiful. We've had a great month of weather. Let's hope it holds up. We just keep going. There was a tournament this past Wednesday for the youth hockey. There's a tournament Monday for the Knights of Columbus. And then that's it till beginning of August. But so things are pretty good up there right now. So I'll move on, and with that, I'll hand it off to Mike. Give him a minute to catch up.
Good evening, everybody. So I have been working with Ray and the team over there. Been spending quite a bit of time there. Ironically, the part of the landscaping came about from some volunteers in town wanting to participate in mulching and putting volunteering for the community. So we got prepared to have some maybe 20 people to move mulch around for a day. So we took a look around and decided that we might be able to remove some of the shrubs that are in front of the rail at the pro shop, and replace them with newer stuff, thin it out a little bit, and then I think it's anyone that's been up there hopefully sees a noticeable difference for the good. So we're just trying to pick away with things that we can afford. Number one, can get done. Number two, and would help with the curb appeal. Concentrating on that. We're trying to see if we might be able to do some tree work in the future and replace some car paths. I think that's going to have to be probably budgeted. That should be something where we should work on having a certain amount of money every year budgeted on an annual basis, like we would sand and salt. Spend $30,000-$40,000 a year paving something, or 20,000, whatever it might be. So if we have a little bit of money, we're getting real tight to the end of the fiscal year, but Ray's been working at it. He's gonna hear back from a few people. We might try to do some other projects. Eventually we've got to replace some irrigation in the pump house from the pump house from across the road. We're trying to see if we might be able to get that on a schedule to happen partially this year, partially next year, to try to bite as much as we can chew. And it takes a little bit of time and effort and teamwork to meet with vendors and make phone calls and wait for responses and set everything up. But other than that, I've been spending quite a bit of time at the golf course, and very happy with what I see there. It always seems busy. I think the course is in great shape. I've been buzzing around a little bit. And I happened to read some reviews. I don't know if you guys have gone to, I think it's golfnow.com and seen some reviews, but it's, I think, 4.5 stars. Yeah. People take the time to write that the course is unique and challenging and the customer service was good. So that's great to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Foreman's not here and Marty's not here. So we'll go on to the restaurant.
Okay. And just to reiterate what Marty said about the volunteer help, the last couple of weeks I volunteered Steve's crew while he was away and he couldn't nix me, but we did a lot of trimming in the areas where, because it's so hard with all the rain, Ray's crew does such a good job up there. Just mowing grass is a yeoman's job up there. And so thank you, Steve. You didn't even know why you were gone. He was at his daughter's wedding in Italy. Oh, nice. So that is any volunteer stuff which goes through, of course, Park and Rec before it goes. Anyone could do anything there, but the place is looking better and better. And the other thing I did want to talk about, and it's not when are the signs up for on the tee boxes that we paid for?
Sponsorship signs.
I don't think they're up yet.
No, they aren't.
Okay.
They aren't.
And honestly, are there any open house?
Well, we have ours. We have to pay for ours, but they haven't even asked for the money yet. And the season's we're a quarter way through, and we paid for Tommy's for a few years. Tommy Regan, which will be on number. What is that now? It's
9,
number
10, 17.
Number 16.
17.
With Joe's group that were involved, and we're the one we paid for a sign for that. So a few of the guys were asking, that's all. It's nothing, not a complaint. It was just a ask.
Thank you.
If the only when those tennis tournaments went on up there, it gets a little too clustery bathroom wise. They were showing up, other teams from all the way across the state were there, and they would come in, and we weren't even open, the restaurant, and they'd come in with 15 to 20 girls all at once after we had just cleaned the bath, you know what I mean? And they, let's put it this way, there was nothing left in the bathroom we're taking home. Okay, so there is outhouses down there, right, by the tennis courts?
There's one, possibly not enough.
But see, that's where the athletic director needs to talk to Mike. Mike, we have a tournament, not one team playing another team. We've got 8 teams coming in. Well, now we know you have to make other arrangements. So that goes back to the athletic director.
Why do you make a lot of sense?
Having the conversation with the park and rec. So they don't do that. You do golf tournaments, same thing. There's 6 teams that show up. And bus parking and everything else that affects everybody else. They just, the athletic department just doesn't.
When we have a CIAC tournament, they charge admission. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, most definitely, yes.
So they're, you know, they.
We had a CIAC tennis tournament at Crestbrook, you think CIAC?
No, you think the NBL tournament was up,
Those girls were from far away.
but then it was just a 1-team match. It was a tournament, the CAC tennis tournament, state tournament, where Watertown played whoever they played that week.
Right.
Okay.
That was just 2 teams.
That's what I'm saying. They came off on the whole bus.
Right.
Yeah.
And it happened a few of the days.
Yeah, they went 3 or 4 rounds, right?
But wouldn't you think they almost want to use the bathrooms almost every time they're up there, but they come in by bus, and would imagine they'll go out there a couple times.
They don't.
No, not buying, they use the bathroom. And, you know,
Yeah, they use the bathrooms.
but they probably more often than just once or twice.
Oh,
or just
yeah.
a couple times.
Whatever they do, they come in and, but the first is an onslaught.
They're getting changed. They're
getting
changed an hour ride.
You know, and you can't play with
We're okay with it, we don't mind.
I'm just bringing it up that if the athletic director could have some cohesion with us.
To let everybody know.
And give us a heads up, so my wife could be prepared.
Yeah.
That's all, and again, it's not a complaint, it's a suggestion. And the last thing is, the car show, and brought to my attention more, even by someone that works in the building. Sunday, July 1st is our car show, which has been approved by Park and Rec. We don't have a rain date for it. And the other, there's no other car show in the state that doesn't have a rain date. I mean, Park and Rec's involved with the one at the Lions Club. There's a rain date for it. Park and Rec facilities are being used for VFWs. There's a rain date for that.
We didn't do it because at the time we don't want to lock up 2 weekends. What if we gave you a rain date and we had a golf tournament?
That's why we do why now I'm bringing it up, which is a month and a half now before the car show. If possible, there are no Sunday golf tournaments
After 2 o'clock.
after on the weekends.
But in July, there won't be, because
there won't be any early July or early August. Is what I'm saying.
Here's what I wanted. I want to have Michael go talk to Marty.
Right.
Make sure Marty clear on Sunday. Say he does a lot of other things up there that may not come to us.
100%. Yes.
Like his junior program and stuff like that.
He does, like we didn't even. What is the name of that tournament? Because that rings a bell.
Red Solo Cup. David Braun.
Oh, David Braun is the name?
Yeah.
That rings a bell on me, Mike.
But anyways,
talked about that one.
So that way you guys can come up.
Right.
You and Marty can come up with a rating.
I am just asking for consideration.
Yeah. That's, I understand where you're coming from now, like, there are no July tournaments right now.
Right, but that ours is late July anyways, it's July 21st, so maybe it could be August.
Is there anything going on?
That's not on here, your tournament.
It's not a tournament.
It's a car show.
Your car show's 7/1.
Yeah.
So what's July 28th?
7/1 is a Monday.
Our car show's July 21st.
Oh, you just said July 1st.
Yeah, he did. That's why I'm on my phone here, but I was gonna let him correct myself. It's July 21st and the 28th is
21st, so we might, maybe the 28th is not a good day anyways, maybe Marty has a junior tournament. Maybe, but maybe, you know, there's probably 2 or 3 days in August that don't conflict with the Lions Club.
There is
doesn't conflict with,
But it may be July 28th may be a good day to do it if you guys are okay with it and Marty's good with it.
Right, I want to have that run through Marty and Mike, because just make sure Marty doesn't have anything.
Exactly.
I don't want, you know,
and
65 kids showing up.
Need it anyway.
Yeah.
So
Hey, he's looking over that day. We went through enough of that, but the problem is, without a rain date, and you put up a couple $1,000s in the trophies and the sponsorships and everything else, and then you're buying food, of course, and that's all I'm saying. And again, next year, that'll be up for negotiations again, if the time and the place, and we're still alive.
I think there might be one missing on here, on the tournaments. Mike, do you want to check with Marty? It's the Hurricane Tour. It's a junior PGA, or they call it the Hurricane Tour. It's a 2 day, I think it's a 2 day tournament.
I remember that. Was there one last year,
Like
2 days?
August or September, maybe?
Yeah, I remember that last year.
But I thought I saw it on a piece of paper before, but then I don't see it here now, so. Because that would be tough though, if that sneaks up on somebody, because you know, we're all going off of this list.
Yeah.
And if something jumps up at you, it could be
Positively.
yeah. One question, what is a porta potty run? Are they expensive?
Probably $250 a month, maybe.
For each porta potty. That's a shame.
It's not terrible. You think so?
I think
Well, I
We
mean,
put the whole month and they empty probably during the month, once a week. Once a week, so.
it's more than that. So what I was thinking is, when you know that, to know that these tournaments are going on, whether they be.
Maybe you just hit it May, June, July and be done.
Exactly, that was I was thinking, if you do that for like for the tennis courts, you bring 5 in, you leave them there for 3 months.
Yeah,
Then you take them away, but at $250, that's all, I mean, that's what
it's
I'm
okay
like.
to do, but we should absorb the whole cost of that if it's gonna be for the.
Yeah, well, that's
for
what's cool.
$250, I would rather just a heads up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's only one more.
but that's for the, so, but the school board would have to deal on that one, right?
Right.
No,
And I don't know if that would solve the problem.
yeah, I'm just thinking, that's all, just throwing an idea out there.
But I would take care, honestly, I mean, we like giving.
And you guys can do bathroom and stuff, right?
Because
Because a lot of times those could be at any given time, you always have to have somebody monitor those bathrooms, because cleaning it once a week doesn't cut it.
Right.
we monitor ours.
You mean the outhouses?
Yeah.
And
I'll
these
tell you
guys-
what, I just got off the golf course and I went in the outhouse. I don't know.
On the
what
bottom or the
are
top?
now, the top.
Okay.
Okay.
It was the cleanest outhouse I've ever been in. I couldn't believe it when I went in there, I go, oh my God.
I think it's a new company, they were new.
It's our new.
I mean, I don't know if it just got cleaned yesterday or what, but
Yeah.
when I went in there, it was the cleanest.
We just,
Wasn't it ever-
we use them,
That was 2 hours ago.
we use them for the Shamrock Shuffle, and what a big difference.
Yeah, good to know.
They're good. Get new equipment too.
Yeah, that's helpful.
But that's about it, guys. Is there anything you need from us? Besides, Monday night,
No?
I wanna get, no, we know what we need on the menu.
Okay. Then do it, reprint it.
Shrimp taco.
No, you promised me 2 weeks ago.
That sounds good.
So I brought my whole family that night,
Joe.
and there was no shrimp tacos.
What was on that night?
A hot dog.
Oh,
we had a blast though.
We had a
my
good
family
time.
really
I was with your son yesterday,
So,
but again, thank you.
okay, cool. Thank you. Any old business? Is none. Under new business, we review consideration of submittal applicants and tournaments. We have none. So I'll open it up. You got anything?
May 16, 2025, Lions Club. Just had a meeting the other night, so.
Usually we pencil that in for you guys.
I'm just kidding.
I have, you can see under new business, update Founders Row. Okay, benches, the families were told that the benches would be installed along the driveway coming in and out. And I understand the mowing, my recommendation was to put them almost right against the guardrail so they could just bring the mower around. Then when they do the weed whack and just underneath the benches. Well, benches have been installed on various holes. And now the plaques for those 3 benches that are supposed to be on the road are now on benches on 1, 10, and 5. That's not what we promised the family. We told the families, Founders Row, those benches would be along where people could sit for fishing, not up on the course. Somebody else wants to sponsor a bench on the course and put the plaques on it. Well, we did promise, we have to follow through on that. We did promise the families that those benches would go. That's the Dalton family, this is the Tanner family, and the Bennett family. We have to follow through on that to make sure the benches are bought. They're up on top of the supply shed. They've been putting benches in around the different holes, which is nice. And I got held up on Friday, Monday night, and I sat down with Ed Zabit's partner, Vito VC, while we were waiting for the groups ahead of us. And it was nice to sit down and relax for a few minutes and get up and down. So, I mean, welcome seeing them there, but we do have to say what we say we're going to do. We said we're going to put the benches in along where people fish.
How many benches can you fit along that Founders Row?
It depends on how close you put them.
I mean, is there a plan of how many we were looking to do?
I was out there and Ray and I walked it a couple weeks ago. There were 3 benches were designated to go here. I think it's a tight space. Ray wasn't consulted about them. I think the families may be okay if we had a conversation with them and said the plaques have been relocated, because we have to take a second look at whether or not benches should go on that particular portion. We've got snow removal concerns, we've got mowing concerns, I've got issues about safety, whether or not people can safely sit next to the guardrail. If you pull it away from the guardrail, are they too close to the water? So we looked at other places to possibly put benches, including over by the back of Sunset. And there were a couple of spots there that might overlook the sunset real nice. And it was determined that they may be more comfortable at the golf course, especially given the first hole, the 10th hole, and the par 3, where I believe one of the gentlemen or woman
that's David.
Got a hole in 1. So perhaps we can start by having conversations with the families just to give them an update.
Obviously, we can. Again, we're chasing the dog after the tail.
Well, take a walk out there. That's what I would recommend. Do what I did. Step on the other side of it if you haven't already. Just get on the other side of the guardrail and scope it out. It's tight. It's very tight. And you're encouraging people to sit there. Where do they park? You can't park on that causeway. So now you're having to park all the way down here. It gets a little tricky.
I think you would have more pushback if everybody was consulted, but if Ray wasn't consulted, so I think maybe it deserves more of a conversation. I know what you're saying.
We went over this for
but
more than a year.
But if Ray didn't know, he should have had some input though, right? I mean, to be fair. I mean,
Yeah.
I know we did what we did.
I mean, it was, I thought that everything was all set, and we had consulted Ray, and talked about where they would be and how to put them in and stuff like that, and it was all set, except for the fact that, in my end, and I know Ray was consulted, because Ray made a recommendation that these are the benches that he wanted going forward for all the holes, just one standard model that matched everything. And him and John Bono got together. And John Bono wants the same thing for Veteran Parks, so they're all the same. So if you need to replace something or whatever, everything is there, they can have. And we got a couple benches that we got not all the parts, and the company said just keep them. So we wound up with a lot of extra spare parts, either a thing or some legs, because they just said, no, don't ship them back, we'll just send you a whole complete unit. Either way, and we need to tell the family that, you know, they're at these holes if they want to go up and see. And that if that takes care of it, then it's done and over with. It's a good point.
That walking path, that walks, is there an official walking path that goes around the lake from that spot? No. It's just people just forge through, and it's sort of
the Boy Scouts cut a path that goes down pretty much to the point where the young man drowned 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, the Boy Scouts cut it in there.
Okay.
But it comes back. It doesn't go all the way around. It stops.
Yeah.
At the point.
But I'm just wondering, is that a place you want to put a few benches if you can clear out a spot and just people that can walk up there and just sit by the pond and just, you know, sort of it'd be a nice relaxing spot.
I know Kevin and Kathy Nolan, where you said, Marty, behind the gazebo, that little gazebo that's there, we haven't cut that down now. Then now we almost can't see the lake anymore. She was going through cancer, and she was on death's doorstep, Kathy, and thank God they have so much faith. And she looks amazing. But they used to sit down on that little bench right there, and one of those nice benches would be amazing there. But that's in that one spot, you know, and it looked on the lake. But those benches are beautiful. And they do. We get tired out there. It's good to sit.
Now, another thing, again, we have to work with Public Works because there's only one bus shop in town.
Yep.
We've requested for years and years to have Park and Rec. Same model as the town, so that if one broke down, you had another one to back up, or vice versa. People were cross-trained. Park and Rec people cross-trained, they could help the Public Works out. Public Works got behind on brush hogging, or Public Works could help Park and Rec out. We got behind. And yeah,
you have
along in front of the restaurant where we cut a lot of trees. That tree line is just about even with the pool. We need to brush hog in front of it again.
Yeah, that would be real nice.
How much is the brush hog, you know, really? How much are those machines?
Oh,
I don't know.
$500,000.
I don't know. Okay. And we need to, if we brush hog upper parking lot, hole number 9 side. If you look at the model in the pro shop, the original parking lot up there was configured for parking on both sides. And I went up and measured it. It's 10 feet less for the upper parking lot, B parking lot, than for C. So we can get more, but B is at an angle. So you go in and then you back out to go in the same direction. The lines would have to be straight on that upper parking lot. So you could pull in, you couldn't angle. And you could probably, I think I counted like another 17 parking spots you could get.
Because of the overgrown brush.
Yeah, if you see the brush the way it hangs out.
The whole length of it needs to, it'd be nice if we get the whole length of it, but you're absolutely right. It'd be nice to get those lines painted as well.
Yeah, and
I thought about that.
17 additional spots for whatever, car shows, tournaments, whatever you have, you know, big parties.
We're hoping that we could get that, the brush done.
That's what you call Public Works. You know, they have to coordinate when they can get up there and use the machine. I say perfect time is when they're going along Northfield Road. They're there to begin with, so, and again, where the people are fishing, they just gotta reach over with the boom and take a swipe so the people have it, easier for fishing.
Real quick, back to those benches that they want to put on Belt Founders Row.
Yes.
Do we know if there is a minimum of how far the bench needs to be from an easement and how far the bench would need to be from the water? Because that could just solve the whole problem right there. If say you can't have a bench within 5 feet of the road. Okay, so now it must be 5 feet off the road. It must be X amount, you must have X amount walking space between the edge, the recognized edge of the lake and the front of the bench.
There's so much more than that.
Oh, I agree, no, I agree.
You're improving the facility,
Right.
right, with 3 benches, 3 beautiful benches, you're improving the facility. In the tune of the benches are now probably $2,500, thereabouts, 3,000 with labor and stuff like that. You may want to put them on a concrete slab. You may be digging into a dam.
Right,
That's not going to be even allowed. We don't even want to go anywhere near that. Then if you're anywhere, if you walk that, you'll see it's steep. You can't invite anybody to walk on a pitch that's more than.
no, I agree 100%.
So we'd have to go very close to the rail.
Right.
And we know they get destroyed by snow, you know, change the whole snow removal process.
No, that's fine. I agree. I was just thinking about
And then
it.
parking, somebody's got to park. By
Right.
rights, I don't know if you improve the facility, we don't have to plan for parking. We've got enough of that.
As it is. No.
But if you need 5 feet off the road and 5 feet from the edge of the water, you just answered your own.
You know, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm just saying. So then we can always go back to the city and say, look, we can't do it because they cross.
Yeah.
And you're not, it's a safety, now if it was a major safety violation, then it does become any other type of violation.
Like road, we cannot,
Right.
not do what.
That's all, that's where I was headed. I wasn't headed at, I'm not against
Right.
not doing it, but
If you wanna build a wall,
yeah.
up to you.
Yeah. Look at the guys that laid the bricks up on 2 to come down. They were working like, oh, they were going crazy. They're doing a great job. But all right, anything else?
Yeah, the last thing is the guardrails on the corner by the restaurant. That bill has been paid.
For the ones that.
They're supposed to be putting the guardrails on the corner by the propane tanks.
Yeah.
Okay, those have been paid for.
I investigated that. I did not see that we paid for that.
I thought it was, I thought it was brought up with Lisa.
Yeah.
I received, I have an invoice. I can look for it if you'd like.
Look for the check.
I don't know if we'll get lucky, but let's try.
Yeah. Because thing like the wood came in late, then it had to be treated. Because that's holding up doing the signs for the fire marshal and everything, fire lanes in front of the restaurant. No parking on the corner, so that's holding that project up. I wanted to get the guardrails in first.
While Mike's looking for that, as something I think is real important for the community, can we have a sign, and maybe there is one there that I've been remiss. I had to ask a father to leave the lake. Not that I did it as someone who cared. He had 2, 3, 4-year-olds in a canoe without life jackets. Right where the fishing, so where the boat launch is. Now, I know I'm a constable, but I'm not saying that's constable duty. But as it was duty as someone that cared, we've watched 2 people since I've been there drown that were pretty good swimmers. One guy was a survivalist. You go in that lake, you're not coming out. So was I at a right to say that to him?
Absolutely. Yeah. As a human being.
I think it's crazy he didn't have a life jacket on, but to have 2 little tots. He said, they're in the boat. I said, well, can you please put them on?
Did he have them?
No, he made it up.
Trying to blow you
and
off.
then he said, oh, my wife's gonna bring them.
Yeah.
I said, that's a terrible excuse.
But that's
I didn't demeanor them in front of the children or even do it in a loud voice. just the way I'm talking now, I said it to them. You haven't got any complaints that someone said that, because they would be, you know, they would get it back at them if they complained about something like that.
Joe was a concerned father.
But if we could have a sign, life jackets.
Required.
Life jackets required on, well, on the water.
No, it's kind of, you know, the less you say, the better.
Yeah. Because you'd be liable for a suit.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
I mean, not for you to say something.
No, I said it as a concerned citizen.
But the signs, you know, they can.
Signs get so tough, Joe. Sylvan Lake, when those kids jumped over the fence from the highway and came in from the backside and the kids drowned.
Right.
We lost part of the lawsuit. You know why? Because the signs weren't in Spanish too. We had tons of signs, no diving, no swimming, you know. And you know what the lawyer picked up on? Well, you didn't have the ones in Spanish.
Just, I mean, I've never seen it before. That was the first time it ever happened.
Hopefully it'll last.
One of the things that I want to do in front of the propane tank, and the reason why it didn't go forward, because there was talk about maybe putting a vinyl fence for privacy more so than the guardrail. So I had Jessica check the invoice. I'll double check it again.
Okay.
But if we didn't pay it, we're going to have the guardrails put there so that if somebody's coming down the hill from 3, you called it, right? Or coming across in front of the, going the wrong way, coming in from the restaurant side. So it'll be a 90-degree guardrail in front of the propane tanks to keep it from being a dark.
Someone hit our railing in front of the restaurant and bent it. It's bent.
And then we're going to put a couple of, the yellow things they put.
The bollards are right there.
We're also putting bollards on the car path over by the pro shop, going from the parking lot up to the pro shop. We're going to put these bollards back there.
That's Joe Carucci there.
Yeah. So, all right. Anything else? That's it. Then I'll make a motion to adjourn. So, those opposed? All right.
Thank you guys. Thank you for listening, guys.
Okay, let me turn the recording off, guys. 6:38.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do we need a motion for that? I don't think you need a motion for that.
Yeah, we just did.
Joe and Nate and I seconded it.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, there's some question of what you need to.
Yeah, that's a new rule. I went 50 years about that one.
A new rule? Maybe they changed Robert's rules?
Well, there's always been a question of Robert's rule when you end the meeting. You just said.
Call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. Roll call, please.
Camarosa.
Al Michael.
Thank you, Jermaine. John Brown. Pat Ronaldi. Bill Donston. Okay. Public participation. To speak at public participation, please state your name and address first, please.
Good evening. My name is Timothy Malushin. My address is 18 Fairmont Ave in Terryville, Connecticut. So you may ask why I'm here tonight. I've been teaching at the high school for 40 years, and I've been coaching girls tennis for approximately 19 years. And we have had some concerns over the condition of the courts. We use the courts for our home matches approximately 9 times in the regular season. And then tournament, we hosted 3 rounds of the tournament, the state tournament this year, since we were the #1 seed in Class M. So we have some concerns for the courts. We have spoken to Mr. Catuccio, the athletic director, for several years. And I think it was in March, we had Mike and I and Coach Mark Zawarowski and Coach Tom, the voice coach, had an email exchange back and forth about the conditions of the court, and they were deemed playable. Fortunately, nobody got injured. Last week, when I was cleaning off the courts to get ready to host teams from around the state, I was brushing off the courts and so on. And as you can see in the picture, we've got some orange, we've got some blue pieces that came up as I was cleaning off the courts.
Stop cleaning.
A little too vigorous. Cleaning off the courts. So I believe it was in the summer of 2022, after our tennis season, there was some patchwork done. You can see some of the patches here with the fiber. So there was some patchwork done and the courts were painted. This shade of orange and blue, which some people have talked about the brightness of the sun with the orange tone. But in any case, so there was some patchwork done and repainting was done. And by the time we played in the spring of 2023, the cracks were back. Any of the patches that were done, that they patched up the cracks, were dead spots. The ball hits there, it doesn't take a natural bounce. And they were back. And over the last 19 years since I've been coaching, the courts essentially, if you look at the upper left of the courts that are close, the closest, like if you go up into the left a little bit more, the side there where the backboard is, the courts are essentially sinking, and there is a gap, probably a good 4 to 6 inches between the courts and the bottom of the fence, and the balls just roll right through, and it always stays wet over there. So they definitely need some work. I think we're fortunate that nobody got injured this year during the season. So we certainly, the coaches, appreciate the fact that we're able to play our home matches at those courts. But I think a serious look needs to be taken on those courts. I really don't think that they would be playable next year after the summer heat and then the cold in the winter and so on. So I wanted to come here today. I am retiring from teaching at the high school. I'm also retired from coaching, but I wanted to come and express my concerns to the Parks and Recs Commission. I'm not sure what can be done. I've heard some different things about there was some money donated and so on and so forth. I don't know any details there. I'm not privy to those, but I do want to express my concerns. I'm not sure if it's something that Parks and Recs can address or how to go about that, but it definitely needs to be addressed.
Okay. Anybody else? Did you want to bring up the letter? Let's see the letter. I didn't finish reading.
I was in that under correspondence.
And I certainly would be happy to answer any questions. I'm not sure about the protocol in terms of how the public participation works. I know with some boards and commissions there isn't a give and take, so I'm not sure, but I would certainly be more than happy to answer any questions.
The history on this is, you were right. We put a Band-Aid knowing it was a Band-Aid. Unfortunately, the workmanship was very poor. We brought them back. That's why you see the different colors. I wanted them to all one color, not just come back and patch it. And the problem with the courts and you being tennis experts, now they're all being done on concrete. They're not being done on asphalt anymore. These are asphalt. So they're at the whim of Mother Nature with the draining. Okay. Mike is starting to look at what it would cost to do them right. To do them right is to tear them right up, do the drainage first of all. Understand that the tennis courts are at the bottom of the hill. We have problems with water on the golf course coming down. So the tennis courts being the very bottom of the hill from the golf course, there's a lot of water. And it's also a problem because every year, the way the course was originally built up there, they filled holes with the old tree stumps and everything. So as they rot, everything keeps shifting. So one year they figure we're going to put a drain in here, and then the next year it's bone dry, but 35 feet over here, now the water has found its way. To do them right, The drainage has to be fixed there, which can be done at the bottom of the hill and drain it around. It has to be done by concrete. And I heard an estimate of about maybe $800,000 to do everything right. Okay. That's just not in the park and rec budget on a yearly thing. We have to go to the town, okay, to see if we can get it. There are things out there called the STEEP grant through the state of Connecticut. We've gotten several STEEP grants over the years. The turf field down at Swift was originally a park and rec thing, and it was reappropriated to the Board of Education, so we put the turf field in there. We did get a STEEP grant when we redid all the driveways and things at Veterans Park. So it's called the STEEP, STEEP grant. Okay. One of the problems with that is it's approved by the governor. It just happens we're a Republican town, so it's kind of tough. You got to get your legislators to get behind that one. Okay. We have a thing called the Staver Fund. Yes, we get the Staver Fund every year. Okay. What it is, Mr. Jack Staver donated $2 million to Park and Rec through the Connecticut Endowment Foundation. So we get the interest on what that money earns every year. Part of that Band-Aid was paid for by the Staver Fund that year. When we put the Band-Aid in, hoping that it was going to last 5 to 7 years. Obviously, we didn't get to the first year because we had to have the company come back in. And to be honest, I think the patches they did to fix the original ones are the ones that you're pulling up now. Made it even worse. And the Staver Fund in the last 2 years, we had zeroed out the Staver Fund to finish the dog park. Okay. Staver Fund has to go for a capital improvement project, Park and Rec, which this would certainly fall under. Last year we got a check for 77,000 something. This year we got a check for 88,000 something. Okay. Park and Rec Commission has not earmarked any of that Staver money for a capital improvement project, hoping to build that fund up. So we have approximately $165,000, okay, in the Staver Fund right now, okay, which could go towards that. Okay. The commission had decided though that we were going to make a minimum amount that we will always maintain in there, so we won't zero that balance out again, ever again. We're going to come up with a figure at some point in time, so there's always something for an emergency. Emergencies always come up in town politics. So the big thing now would have to be, first of all, to get a cost, and try to go to the town council. If not, see if the STEEP grant or any other state grants are available. And again, it would definitely go through next year. So if we get lucky and have another $88,000, you know, it depends on the economy, how the stock market goes, what the interest is. But we'll say $75,000 is a good figure to use yearly. Would be one step closer. So that's why we know the tennis courts, we need it. But we're going to do it right. We're not going to do another Band-Aid. We're not going to do a half Band-Aid. Let's do it right. Let's get drainage in. Let's get the concrete down the way all the other courts are being built now. I know I saw Mike being from South Barry, Pomerod's courts. I did a baseball tournament up Umpire, and I walked by those courts, and you definitely weren't playing them. I mean, poles for the nets pulling up, and same thing drainage. 47 trucks of concrete. It was the picture in the papers to do, and they have what, 8 courts out there. 47 trucks of concrete. So you figure that's why the cost gets up there. And all the rebar and stuff like that. But their problem with drainage, same as ours. All right, and I agree with you. You don't know from one year to the next what's going to happen with the water coming off that hill. So that's where in the past that we've discussed it at the meeting.
Wild thinking here, because those courts are downhill and drainage is never really going to be gone. Is there any other parcel of land within Pressbrook that would be suitable to just start from scratch? And would that be more cost effective than all the labor involved in digging up the asphalt and drainage and everything else? I don't know, just tossing it out
I
as
think
a.
you're gonna still need some kind of drainage wherever you put them, otherwise, even with flat land, they're gonna need anything.
The only open land we have left up there is on the other side of the pond when we come in. With both lunches, we have,
Yeah.
we can go around the back of the pond. But
No, it's all.
Is there any open land by the high school?
Okay, now, that, if you let me speak, I'm gonna, the second part of this now. When we had the basketball courts down here in the parking lot, lower parking lot, the state of Connecticut paid us approximately $110,000, because that space had to be used to set up all the equipment they needed to take the dam down. So those tennis courts were wiped out, and then with the town hall, we're gonna be thin. So we had $110,000 that we had proposed on the side of the high school, which would be the east side, I believe. Yeah, east side of the high school, that we wanted to put the courts in up there. Board of Ed told us, well, no, that's where we're gonna be putting tennis courts. So we said, okay. So we wound up putting the basketball courts back down at Swift where they were years ago with that $110,000, fenced them all in. But we were told when we wanted to put them up by the high school that, no, we're planning on doing tennis courts there.
How long ago was that?
Well, let's see, when we moved, 4 years ago?
4 years already?
man, easily.
Four,
We had dams from 1 4 5 years.
good 4 years ago. Yeah. But that's the reason why they didn't want
over where they used to be 40 years ago.
Yeah,
When I got out of that place.
I remember there were 2 tennis courts
Yes.
there. Down the hill from.
Yes.
From my room.
Okay.
On that side of the building, and then they deteriorated and they were putting snow plows and stuff like that in there.
Yep.
And so.
I mean, and the board of ed is able to put in for steep grants and things like that. But that's why we were told we couldn't do the basketball courts here, because the board of ed had planned on doing tennis courts. And that's the last we heard of it. Once we turned the money over for the basketball courts, then the board of ed took over the project and had the courts installed, fenced, lighting, stuff like that. So Park and Recreation is not involved with the basketball courts down at Swift. I mean, we did turn the money over to the Board of Ed. That's not saying that we can't do a collaborative effort, something with Board of Ed and either at Crestbrook or at the high school, do something. I would think that Crestbrook would probably be the cheaper of the two, because a lot of the heavy work has already been done. Alongside the hill and the high school would be a lot more grading and stuff like that. But I mean, at the high school, one advantage is probably be a lot easier to put light. It could be lighted, which extends the life of the tennis courts, because now you can play into the nights.
What about all our new land at the veterans?
But then,
Yes,
All our new land at the
Yeah.
veterans.
that's what I was just gonna say.
But I just wanted to clarify one of the things that both in the letter and Mr. Malucci mentioned about the Staver grant. So we do have that. We don't have the millions at our disposal. It's just,
we get
as
the
Bill
interest.
said, we get the interest, so it's gonna take a while to build that kitty. And as Bill said, we have addressed this several times in several meetings, is there anything we could do to help those courts?
And Mr. Staver would be thrilled because he was an addict.
He was a tennis.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman last week that came up that took pictures of the courts. He gave me his card, Alan Vega, from Connecticut Community Foundation.
That's the Staver.
That's
That's where we get the Staver interest from.
Okay.
1 year, the first year that after the courts were rehabbed, you know, so we did put up the gray netting, since Staver courts, stuff like that. That's
the windscreen.
the one thing that Mike knows, if it's still on my watch, that there has to be a bench somewhere up there dedicated to Jack Staver. That's all Jack Staver ever wanted when he walked into this office. was he wanted a bench. Preferably at the little pond that the kids ice skate up for Taft, front of Taft, because he lived on the corner of Quassia Park Road in Wheeling, in that house with no garage in it. And he was very unassuming man. He was in here once a week. And when we found out that Jack Staver was, oh, we got the money for a bench. And we were shocked when we found out it was $2 million. And he also donated $1 million to the Mattatuck Museum and $1 million to the YMCA in Waterbury. It was a total of $4 million went to the Connecticut Endowment Association. Okay.
So we have, and correct me if I'm wrong, the boys also won NBLs this year?
No, Watertown
but they
High School boys did not.
21 and 22.
So the tennis program at Watertown High School has skyrocketed
Thrive.
over the past
won.
few years.
The girls' team has won 6 championships in the last 12 years. Wow. And we made it to the semifinals. I don't like to toot my own horn. But we made it to the quarterfinals of the Class M tournament last year. This year we made it to the semifinals of the Class M tournament. And we hosted 3 teams last Saturday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at those courts.
And what an embarrassment to have.
And it was quite interesting because the teams would come off and the coach would be in the pavilion. We always reserve a couple of tables, and they're like, wow, this is a great place. They get on the courts and warm up. And it's a completely different story when the coach and the players come off the courts.
Yeah.
Completely, they're like, clear.
So
I like what Bill mentioned, if there's a possibility of co-funding it maybe. But I think we're still gonna need the board, the town council.
That's, appropriate all that money.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say something. I'm not sure who owns the land, but a couple months back there was a fire over by Crestbrook. I'm not sure if
O&G Industries.
Okay. Maybe we can see if they want to make a deal with us and use that land.
Isn't there
Originally,
isn't there a place where they park equipment?
We borrow it from them.
We borrow it from them.
They allow us.
Originally, the Park and Rec Commission and the town tried, Kenny, 12 years ago now, maybe?
At least.
To purchase the building, the Quonset Hut building. Okay, we wanted to do at that time indoor sport in the winter time, put fields, and we could have put tennis courts and everything in there. Right now, my understanding through somebody that's involved with that is it's going to be a long time before that even comes to be clean, because a lot of lawsuits bouncing back and forth of people that were renting. The town of Watertown had a brand new piece of machinery in there. The machine that they were going along and cleaning out all your storm drains instead of doing it by hand, that was being stored in there. Rubble now. So there's a lot of O&G, somebody who knows who O&G is saying there's a lot of stuff back and forth. People that had antique cars in there. A lot of it was storage. Somebody really wasn't working. And as of right now, I haven't heard that they've determined what the cause is. Probably never will, because everything just so melted and everything. But yeah, the town did look into buying that whole tract of land and stuff like that. This was adjacent to the golf course, stuff like that. So it was looked into, and as of right now, I don't know if, O&G would probably like to get rid of it. It's a big headache for them right now, but yeah, that would be, ideal. Parking is good over there, and you got the concrete in, I would say that's somewhere down the line. We all know how them kind of lawsuits take. People have their houses burned down. It takes them more than a year to get them rebuilt and stuff like that. So I could imagine something of this scope when they're saying over $10 million worth of equipment and stuff was in there. So I'm assuming, and with so many different owners of people that had equipment in there. It's not like they're, unless they go to class action suit together. Other than that, it's individuals. But yeah, that would be perfect.
How much money did you say it was going to cost? $800,000?
Off the top of my head, looking at what I heard about Pomperod, stuff like that, knowing that their project was bigger, probably close to $800,000, because we have to do the drainage work like they did, not just coming in, ripping up asphalt, dropping concrete.
But we do want to expand it.
And I think you want to do eight courts versus, what do we have, 4? Or 6
We're
at least.
We're also thinking a couple pickleball courts also.
Yes.
So.
Yes, I know,
Right.
we do have nets, and
Yeah.
there's like a strap that goes in the middle, and sometimes the pickleball players are a little aggressive with it. And it comes out of our budget and our pockets that we have to fix them and replace those.
There are pickleball lines on the court.
Yes, yes, we do.
Right. And I play pickleball myself. But, so I do appreciate your time and your concern and your comments, and hopefully something can be pursued so that in the future, something can be done.
Yeah.
Maybe, one thing, knowing that we are talking about a timeline here, that again, maybe, Mike, we have to send a firm up. We got the receipts from the last firm, we don't want them to possibly look at doing a smaller Band-Aid this time, just to make sure we're safe.
Well, we did a little bit of research, I was gonna talk about that on the director's report, but I'd be glad for Parks and Facilities, I'd be glad to discuss it now.
Okay, sure.
I met with a representative from Classic Turf, they're right in Woodbury, I've had previous experience working with them. They built the post-tension concretes at Community House Park in Southbury. Those were done in about, I would say, 2011 maybe, 2008, something like that, I could be very wrong. But they don't have a crack on it. Conversely, the tennis courts at the same park have cracks, they're asphalt. To put a Band-Aid on the courts at Crestbrook would probably be over $100,000. That's not including repairing the fence. To do a new post-tension concrete, and this is very rough numbers, might be somewhere around $600,000. And I believe that includes a fence, I'd have to confirm that. To do a project of this size, we probably want to replace the fence as well.
How many courts did it include?
It would be 4.
The 4.
I think if you're going to go close to water there, to expand that, I think, and you wanna try to do that, it's not gonna happen before next spring, I don't think, but maybe it could. But we would need the town council, the Stabler Fund, and potentially the Board of Ed to be a partner, to collaborate with this. Because it's not in our budget, and then we have to build it for next year, which would be July of 25.
Can you zoom out so we can look at?
What if we move the gazebo?
We got space off the end. We go 2 courts, so 2, 2, and 2.
Pick that up and
We
just
go
put it where the
7.
gazebo is.
Or I think he's saying do the 4 and then do another 4 diagonal to it.
Okay.
Right? Is that what
You got a hill though.
There's a fairly steep grade there between the gazebo
Yeah.
and
You got a hill.
No, I mean, I'm talking about if you went right up.
Straight out,
Yeah.
continuation.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Keep
this
going
way.
off the end.
it's
The only thing you have to be.
pretty soggy, it kind of drops
Over there.
off and pretty soggy.
So, I mean, if we got another 2 in it. The other thing we have to watch out for in that area, which obviously isn't on a Google picture, is where the Connecticut State Forest line and the town of Watertown lines. There's another project that we're trying to work on for over a decade now, is getting a cell phone tower up there. And the deal we're trying to make with the state, it's called the Siting Council, is that we swap X amount of acres where we need it off of hole number 8, the new number, to put the cell phone tower, and we give them acreage from the town of Watertown to add to the state forest. Trying to talk about land swaps, but we need a cell phone. I'm sure you guys know cell phone, horrible up there. You move this far and you lose it. So, I mean, and it's a safety factor for us, because we've had 2 drownings up there where people that were there from other towns, we don't have a dive team any longer. We're trying to talk from the corner in the driveway out to the point where they can see the boat. And with the cell phones, and same thing.
I know, I had, if I can add some more, I had a player, God, it must be 5, 6, 7 years ago, that I had to have a walkie-talkie, and I had to be able to walkie-talkie the clubhouse, because her condition, if she was affected, would be immediate 911 and an ambulance. And I had to carry the walkie-talkie because we didn't get any cell phone service up there. And they had to have a walkie in the clubhouse, where they had the landline where they could call.
And I know coming back this way is prohibitive, because we have the pool and we have the playscape. We have somebody donated more equipment to add, we're trying to get somebody to add that to the playscape, so.
Yeah, and it's pretty spongy between the tennis courts and the playscape.
More crazy talk for one moment. Baldwin School, I know it's owned by Taft now, is that, I believe that's correct?
Yep.
But nothing has ever been done with it. What a great location that would be. You have that whole back playground area. Taft want to make a deal?
Taft could put the court in.
I don't know.
Aren't there some clay courts up there?
There are clay courts nearby there.
There's a
Well,
tennis.
that's on Warren, Warren Way.
Tennis court.
That, yes, but I'm talking the playground in Baldwin.
We gave it up.
We no longer own it.
I understand that, Taft does,
Taft bought that.
maybe Taft wants to
Be good
be
citizens.
benevolent. I really, I just said crazy talk, but, I mean, I think this is a big deal. For the
So I think there's two things, right? One, we gotta figure out what do we do for next season, because maybe it's gonna deteriorate so much this winter.
Well, I'll be honest, I think that's something that the Board of Ed needs to get involved in,
Yes.
because it's
So
not,
that was
we
part
have
of
a
my
part of the
second,
problem, but.
yeah, and part of my second point is, we need to figure out who gets involved, Board of Ed, the town, we already mentioned it. So.
Well, the conversation started.
That's it, right.
Conversation
No, we
is-
have to move on. It's all
Right,
gotta be
and
done.
I appreciate that, I appreciate your time, I know you have other items on your agenda, but I certainly appreciate, again, your time and your concern and throwing out ideas and getting the ball rolling, really.
Yeah.
Again, we cut you off, Mike, was there anything else? You're in the middle of.
Well, I just,
600,000 and then.
I think we can do two things at once. Oftentimes, we begin to try to throw things against the wall, hoping that something sticks, whether it be a location here or a location there. If we want to do something in quick order, using infrastructure that's always already in place or site work anyway, is going to fast track you much quicker than all the other things. So I'm not opposed to land at Veterans Park and having pickleball courts somewhere else. Not in this facility, maybe up at that somewhere, maybe somewhere else. But I think, and I know it's a lot of money, but over the course of 20 years, it's not that much money. We'd be having to spend $300,000, $400,000 just to repair it. And these are beyond repair anyway, but if you were replacing with the less expensive asphalt, you'd be investing a couple $100,000 in 15 years into patching them all over again, where you would save that with the post-tension concrete. Right. And I think it's an ideal spot with any drainage issues, even more so. So I'd like to try to somehow get it fast tracked. And I think the way to do that is to be careful about expanding our footprint in any way, because then it has to be sustainable as well. Now we've got another facility that we may have to take care of when we already have this one here. So I'd like to hone in on trying to get these replaced with the post-tension concrete. That's what so I'll have a couple more conversations. I'm making a presentation to the town council on the 17th, Monday the 17th, and I intend to bring this up to the town council meeting just to kind of give them a heads up that this is something that we need to speak about. And then lastly, I don't know if there's anything with the Staver fund where you could tap into more of the principal for a capital improvement such as this and still leave a good chunk there to take off the interest. I don't know if that's allowable under the conditions of the grant.
I want to remember one thing, when going for the town council, the tennis courts are part of Park and Rec. They're not part of Crestbrook Golf Course.
Right, yeah. Right.
Just remember that, I'm gonna throw that in your face.
The Board of Education is
Yes.
Monday night.
Correct.
This
So
coming
maybe you
Monday.
want to ask Mr. Petruccio to go to the meeting with you that Monday. And echo your sentiments as far as the conditioning of the courses.
Yeah. And echoing the success of the program.
And of course, town council meetings open to the public. Either one of you is more than welcome to go to a town council meeting too.
What is it, Monday?
Speaking of public participation.
What is that? It's Monday.
Mondays.
What is it is coming, this coming Monday.
Monday.
Okay.
Town council, first and third of the month. Town council's first and third of the month.
Yes. Okay.
Monday.
Thank you.
But I think it would be wise to let Mark Ramo know that this is gonna happen. Because one thing I know historically, the town council doesn't like to get caught flat-footed. So I think it would be good for them to know that this is coming, and so, I mean, it's your call, but.
The audit that just came in for June 2023 has the Staver Fund $123,710 as of June 2023. So I don't know what's about it now, but that's what was there then.
June of last year.
Yeah.
Fiscal year last year. So we could have a little something in there.
Yeah.
Okay, any other public participation? No, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes for Thursday, May 2nd, 2024.
So made.
Any deletions, additions, corrections, comments? If none, all those in favor? Aye. All those disapprove? Abstain. Abstain, Kareem abstains.
You seconded to approve the minutes?
I seconded.
Only correspondence I had in the packet was the report from Carrie Orfeo. And most of the programs for the summer are pretty well set. Everything is going very well. The Memorial Day parade, Mother Nature shined on us. Stopped pouring rain half an hour before we got the parade. Everybody stayed dry. Didn't start raining during. They had a signal the mail night I see here. We had to touch a truck, which was up at John Trumbull. I went by on my way to a game, and quite a few people. There was a lot of traffic flowing in and out of there, so I gotta say it was a successful event. Okay, all the summer staff interviews for the first week of May are done, and I didn't have a chance to touch base with Mike before the meeting, but we are opening Sylvan this year.
Yes.
Sylvan Lake is open this year, so we got 2 opportunities. I think that'll help the pool with parking and the restaurant and everything, because some of the people that will be using the pool are going to be going down to Sylvan Lake. So it's a good thing that we're able to get both our facilities open for swimming this year. We had the staffing. And the rest of it, I'll let you read. One other thing I'm going to add it under review and consideration for applications. I have an application for a graduation party, and it'll go through the normal channels. And the only thing that we're going to question on that is the supplier of the food. But I'll bring that up under review and consideration for submitted applications. Okay, if we have no other correspondence, we'll go on to the chairman's report. Last meeting we got fire track when we talked about the finance department, when we had figures that were brought up on the board. Okay, in the future I have to make sure we don't get that far on track again, and we need to, certain things need to be checked out before we did it. I did receive a phone call from Marianne Rosa on May 14th, and at the end of the phone call, she hung up on me. Not conversation didn't go well, but that's between me and Marianne. Enough said. Again, I talked about the Memorial Day parade. Number 3, Jan Weiderstadt had a court date, and it was not a continuance, it was pre-trial. So we're getting closer now. Again, my inside track is it's probably gonna be a deal. You know, and I've said it all along, and need to refer to Mark Ramo that they can deal whatever they wanna do, probation, jail time, I don't care. A full restitution to the town needs to be 100%. Money that is gone needs to be back, and then whatever the court system wants to do with probation time and community service or whatever they handle it on that side, that's fine by me. Just let's get the money back here and get it into the golf course so we have something.
How much is it?
A final figure, I guess, with everything was almost between 36 to 38, because they were trying to put figures on like the defibrillator,
Okay.
you know, some of the hard items. I mean, the items from golf now, that's black and white. This is how much we got in the, Kenny read off some numbers already for the,
That sounds like a doable number.
revenue, yeah.
Okay.
We got that back. Number 4, the pool just about ready. See the water levels up there. If you happen to drive by, once the pool is filled, there'll be one day where it looks like the algae took over. It's normal. Once they get the water in, the chemicals they put in to balance everything out, turns it like green for like 24 hours. Then it goes back to crystal clear. It happened to me several years ago. Oh my God, what happened here? It's a one-day thing once they get the final chemicals in. So they happen to be out there, don't worry about it. Okay. The sign in Nova Scotia was finally put in and repaired, one for Veterans Park. And they still haven't put up the signs for Avery Lamphere within the park. I mean,
It's now up.
So is it?
Yeah, it's underneath the flags. Underneath the green, green flag,
Okay,
yes.
so last time I was up there, I wasn't there. And there's been no action other than on Jericho Road, other than cleaning his part of the yard. Nothing with the town side has been going. Last thing is I was able to put together a quick list of the accounts. And over the years, everything was put into separate accounts, and the way it's set up is they cannot be absorbed by the general fund. So obviously we have the doggy park, which is still running, the Staver account, we have the field surcharge, okay, we have account 070, which we call pay to play. That's all your registrations. Okay, all that money goes into one account, and the number on it is 070, and that trips, camps, swimming activities. Okay, it's also for Park and Rec and the senior center. Okay.
That's revenue.
Right. Yes. Okay. Social services. Okay, the food and fuel bank. Okay, Crestwood Golf Course. So the revenues for Crestwood Golf Course go into. Another one called the Parks Improvement Fund, which that could be part of the tennis thing, obviously. Okay. The gazebo fund, which people didn't even realize they had a gazebo fund. Last figures I had on that was approximately $1,400,000, which was just enough to cover the roof replacement.
Say it again?
14,000.
Oh,
Okay, just did 1,400,000. I'm kind of.
That's a
What number?
Sometimes 14,000 in the gazebo fund, which when we looked last year was going to be enough to do the roof repair, scrape it and paint it. And then we have what we call the Colorado system. Colorado system was put in for the pool, the swimming pool at the school. So if something goes wrong with the timing and stuff for the swim team, part of what they pay for their fees and stuff goes into the Colorado system, so that there'll be money for an emergency. Because if the timing system goes out, they got to get it for the next week. So those 10 accounts that we have, and like I said, I've checked into it, and they're all done so that you cannot be absorbed by the general fund. So these are the ones that we monitor and what we have to work with. And but now we're looking forward to a good I will be going in the hospital for 1 day, and I will be definitely out for 10 days, but I will make the next meeting, so I timed it in between us. And I apologize for missing that last
There
meeting.
won't be a next meeting. Next meeting is July 4th.
July 4th.
Yeah, falls on July 4th.
Okay.
So there will not.
Isn't there a party going on there?
It's your
Can I ask
house.
a question? I don't have any other points.
Yes.
The accounts, is there a way or is there a place, and not you have to do it, but is there a place where I can go if I wanted to and get a balance and a description on each of those accounts?
The audit shows all the accounts, doesn't show the account numbers. The Colorado Fund is something I don't think I've ever seen in the special revenue funds.
So there were 10 accounts, I think you said. You have a listing of the 10, even if they don't have the account number, you know?
Well, if you go, I've only got the page that has the Staber account on it, but there are 3 or 4 pages of special revenue accounts in the audit. They're towards the page 90 is when they start. So you can look at each one of those accounts and see how much money is in each one of those accounts.
Mike, is there any way that we could get a listing?
Yeah, where did you get that from, Bill?
Memories.
Memory?
There's 2 more that I'm not sure what the names are.
Well,
Same thing, they were endowments, but they're much, they're not anywhere near the Staber account. There's 2 smaller ones that, I remember Lisa and I had talked about this last year. And, my memory was the gazebo fund because that money was lost for over 10 years. Nobody even knew. And Mary Ann Rose, they happened to be on that committee. And it was brought to our attention by somebody that was on the committee. Nobody knew. And they brought it up. So, yeah, $14,000 left. And we looked it up, and there was $14,000 in an account earmarked for the gazebo, town gazebo.
Did you mention Crestbrook Improvement Fund?
That's the surcharge.
Crestbrook Golf Course.
It says Crestbrook Improvement Fund. It's got $636.
That's.
And we have Parks and Rec programs.
I have Park and Rec Improvement Fund.
I've got Park and Rec programs, which we got $232,000.
Okay, the programs is probably the 070 account for trips and trips, the fees that. Camping.
That could be I don't know the account numbers. Yeah. Okay, good. We'll find the account numbers.
Okay.
I just think it's a good idea if more than one person knows what these accounts are. And we know what's in each of them, otherwise we can't make educated decisions as to, hey, maybe we take the funding out of this account and that account, put them together. We have maybe half the amount we need for a tennis court, for example. You know, so.
We're going to get this new system that's coming through, that's going to set all that up, where the town council is going to get at least monthly reports of what the monies are. Now, I don't think the monthly reports are going to talk about these special funds. It's going to talk about the budget funds. So it's something else to look at.
Okay. And the final thing is, Kenny will reiterate this, with the projected income from the golf course this year, the way things have been going, we should definitely be in the black. Cool. After this year, we should deficit with the administrative fees and all that behind us, where we get to the point where Mike talked in the golf course meeting about some projects to start working on. Well, once you get in the black, now you got the money, we can start talking about this, because before the town council earmarked us that we had to pay the deficit off first, pay our normal bills, don't put any money for improvements until that deficit was paid off. So once we hit that black mark from the red, now we can start talking about projects that Mike is going over with Marty and Red. It looks like this year's the year.
Remind me, what is the ballpark amount that we paid every year towards that deficit?
Anywhere from 175 to 200 over the last 3 to 4 years.
Yep. Great.
COVID did wonders for us. Yep. It got us rolling. It saved the national game of golf.
Absolutely.
And it just has been booming ever since.
Okay. Everyone reports out the director. I'm sorry.
I think what you wanted to say was, when talking about Jan, allegedly, because that's in the middle of the court.
Yeah, it's up to the board.
So I just want to make sure that I think you meant to say allegedly, and just for clarity. So just for okay.
Okay, the director.
I made some contact with Naples Play, the contractor. That's going much more slowly than it seems to should. We have a part that's ready to go, that we've had. And to repair it, we need one top for the slide and something to attach the climber to. And I'm having a heck of a time getting just those two parts. Since I've been here, we've been working on that, myself and Jess. So no update to give you there. As Bill mentioned, we're going to be opening up both the pool and Sylvan Lake. We've sold season passes already for the pool at Crestbrook. I met with a representative from the forestry department. Billy mentioned that there's some land at Crestbrook around the pond, and they may want to at some time in the future do some forestry management and might need to cross or come close to our property lines to be able to do that. I didn't see any objection in that. They may want to take down and remove some old oaks so that they can spur growth of new species that are a little bit more tolerant, or will be a variety so that if we ever have a disease come through, it's not as vulnerable. So that could be many, many years away, but she didn't want to continue the to pursue it if we were going to be a hard stop. So I didn't object that at all.
We've done this in the past.
As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be at the town council meeting on the 17th to present, I think, give them a status report of some of the accomplishments of the last 6 months and some of the things that we have planned for the next 90 days. So I'll be highlighting some special events. I'll be highlighting some of our programs. I'll be highlighting what we're doing at social services and at the senior center, and some of the things that we're doing around parks and facilities. To give you an idea of where we stand, seeing as this is our last minute before the fiscal year ends, we are close to, okay, here. This is our recreation management software. So this is a page that I open up every day. So this date right here gives you our number of registrations since June 1st through June 6th, 61 registrations. If I go back to July 1st, since July 1st, we've had nearly 7,000 registrations. And then year over year, we can track the the aggregate registration numbers through various means. So we're pretty busy, and this is where we pay. This is our pay to play part of it, and Crestbrook operates under the same way. When the new finance director comes in, we'll certainly be having some conversations about potentially having there be more reporting, at least on the financial side. So we've made some adjustments. For example, we had to adjust our camp prices slightly to accommodate for the rise in interest rate and minimum wage. So ideally, we want to try to have a little bit more. We want our programs to be self-sustaining, but the town to invest capital. So the town itself would invest in the pool. But the people that benefit from swim lessons and have to pay for the lifeguards would pay for the staff. But the town pays for the chlorine to be able to have that facility, just like it does to put an office over my head. Like I said, we might want to take a look at the Staver Fund and see if there's other options there other than the interest. I think I'd like to have a plan A for funding, a plan B for funding, maybe even a plan C for funding. But if we want to fast track that project, I think, like I said, as Joe said, I'll talk to Mark. Again, I did make him aware of it. But I think we're going to, I think Mr. Staver may, with the foundation coming around, took some pictures, called me, they want to do a press release. I mean, I think we have an obligation to use that money to a certain extent, or at least have a plan. So I think this is all part of that. And I don't know if that'll be a town council decision, probably, if they want to tap into the principle.
It's our recommendation, but
okay.
With our recommendation. Well, they just can't say, okay, let's use the Staver.
No.
Right.
first thing the endowment has to say that it's within the framework of.
Right, I don't even know that, yes, correct.
They say, no, that this is what you gotta do.
We're getting a lot of work done. I know the Parks guy and the Crestbrook crew, they're with it raining fairly consistently. I think they're mowing the land probably three times a week potentially. And that would probably go for most of the fields. So they're having a hard time, I think, getting to some of the smaller gardens around town that I'd like. So you'll start to see some of the little mini pocket parks or signage things. It's on our list along with a lot of other facilities. We'll have to wait and see, hopefully, how much gets done in the next couple of weeks. I'm putting pressure on getting Silver Lake open, so there's some work that needs to be done there. So the park guys particularly are getting spread in a lot of different directions. We've done a little bit of landscaping at Crestbrook to include rebuilding some stairs. That I think is on what, two now, yeah. And that concludes my report, unless anybody would like a tutorial of what our public site looks like. I'll just show you real quick. This is what you see when you go to our public site. If you want to see our special events that we have coming up, click that link. And this brochure comes up with what's coming up. We just did the tag sale a couple weeks ago. We've got a Quasi trip coming up. Poker night, poker run nights every Wednesday, or these Wednesdays here, just before our concerts. We've got our night out on Main Street. Save the dates, guys. July 13th and August 17th. It's going to be a party.
March right there.
We've got some concerts. Here's our concert schedule.
That's, I feel bad. I went to a lot of those concerts last year and I was really surprised how few people attend. You know, I've been to Southington and a few others and they pack them in, but so we've had some great music up there, but it's somehow it just doesn't.
It's so far. No, it's like not right in the middle of town. It's not like you're having
a green in the middle of town.
That's what I mean, you know.
It's not like the.
It's like a 50-minute drive.
All right, well, everybody commit to showing up to at least one concert. Come on, how bad can it be? It's a free concert. Wear your Jerry Garcia hat and come down and hang out with me. So that's all the special events. If you want to see the senior newsletter, you can see that here. You'll see that there's some changes in this newsletter. I don't know, it's interactive or something like that now, but yeah, so it moves on its own. But we've condensed it considerably. So I'm pretty pleased with the progress that we're making in the social media part and trying to make it easier for people to get information about our department. So please browse that every once in a while. Take a look at what we're doing on our program side. We've got a Yankees game coming up. If anybody wants to take a bus trip to see New York Yankees versus the Red Sox. So participate, please. It'd be great. That's all I have. Yeah.
Can we put a flyer for the concerts in like everybody's water bill when it goes out? No, I'm serious. I mean, yeah.
The water bill only comes out once a month.
That's true, and it's already come out, right?
Already paid it.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? We need to get it out there. It could go in the tax bill. It could go with it. That's right. It could go in the tax bill.
Before I go on
some good news.
Before I go on to subcommittees, a quick interjection here for Corinne and Peg. Our Crestbrook foreman, Ray Marks, his sister passed away earlier today.
Oh,
sorry. I want to let everybody on the commission know that he's the superintendent and his sister did pass away.
Okay. And
right. Subcommittees.
I have one question for Mike. Like, just out of curiosity, somebody asked me this question. And obviously I don't have the answer. Is there any benefit to covering the pool for the winter versus letting it stay open to the elements and then you have to go scraping and painting it? Would it save us anything by covering it to protect it a little bit?
Comparing it to Southbury where they had a pool and they covered it, I don't see that that there was an advantage to covering the pool.
Somebody just threw that at
it's another $12,000, $15,000 piece of equipment that we have to replace every few years.
Okay.
And I didn't see the benefit. We had when We had a lot of people put some labor into cleaning the leaves and things out. It'd be great to have that vacuum truck, but I don't know if it would reach, but if it would have, it would have been great.
I got the answer to that, because I've asked this many years ago.
Okay.
They said because of the age of the concrete on the decking, okay, some of it covers some of it, sun, water, ice in the winter time, okay, it would just tear it up because it would get into the spot. It was better off having the whole thing, Mother Nature hit it in the winter so that it doesn't make that.
Okay.
So that's why they said no cover, because it would, like, on top of the expenses that Mike just said, now currently we have to spend more money to repair the decking around the
Who pays for the water? Do you pump it out of the pond?
No, we pump it out of a well.
Yep.
Well, okay.
That's why it takes so long to fill it up. The pump run for a while, you gotta let the pump
That's
cool.
okay. It's not coming out of the water and sewer.
We used to. When I was on the fire department, we used to run hoses all the way from Fern Hill.
Is that right?
It was part of a drill. We made it a drill.
No.
Many moves.
Right, subcommittee, St. Kenny.
All right, Crestbrook, course is open, course is dried up nicely the last few weeks. The sun and lack of rain has been a beautiful thing, and a little bit of wind helped it out immensely. Like Michael said, they did a great job on the new wall staircase going up to the second tee box. It's very eye appealing when you come around that corner instead of seeing walls falling. And it's I mean, those little things, I do agree with him, are going to make a big difference up in that course over the course of time as we move on and get a lot of little projects done. And they did a lot of yard work up there, a lot of landscaping. He got the volunteers in to help, which was a great thing. So it looks good. There's other things you mentioned, doing some tree work, working on some cart paths, but that's in the future. As Billy says, if we get out of debt this next fiscal year, if we make a couple $100,000 a year, that goes right into our fund, our kitty fund. Town cannot touch that, hopefully. So they have to do 600,000 on us, but that's beside the point. It's in great shape. A lot of tournaments going on. Another tournament this past Wednesday. Tournament coming up Monday. There's one the end of the month, and then July will be a little on the quiet side. So that'll be nice. The restaurant was here. We spoke to them. They were inquiring as to where the signs were on the tee boxes. They have not gotten around to putting them up yet. I'm sure that'll be done shortly. We talked about their car show. The restaurant talked about their car show on 7/21. They don't have a rain date for it. I informed them that talk with Mike and Marty up the course if they want to hold it. Possibly could they hold it the following week should it rain, but that's between those to make sure Marty has nothing going on the course. Billy mentioned Founders Row, the benches that they want to put in to overlook the pond. They took the signs that were supposed to go on those benches, they put them on the golf course, they put them on the 1st, 10th, and 5th bench that are on the tee boxes. They felt more or less for a safety issue. They're going to look into it a little further, but it would be better off for them to be on the course instead of the benches on that stretch of land, because for the reasons of snow removal, is there enough room between the road and the pond to have benches where people actually have to maneuver around? So it's looking like that's going to be where they're going to end up going, and they're going to contact the people that the benches were earmarked for and make them aware of that's what they had decided to do for those reasons. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. We have no old business, new business. Review and consideration of submitted applications for 2024. We didn't have the one we didn't have to approve. We could stop under 100 people. And I got a Jess sent me a copy of a email from a Judy Lopez. She's put a permit in for a graduation party on August 10th at Veterans Park. Standard application. The only thing is, she was saying she wanted Demelius from Waterbury as the food caterer. And I said, this is only for our information. Okay, Amelia's has to go through the Torrington Board of Health and get the proper permits like anybody else.
But do they?
They're okay.
I only say that because if this is a personal party, they're responsible for their own guests. This isn't open to the public party.
No.
And it's not a food truck.
Right.
So they technically don't have to do anything. It's just, this is their personal party. They're bringing catering. That's all they really need to do.
Okay.
I think it's true.
Yeah. So the public, you have to.
She's saying, how many people here? Head count 70 people.
That's gonna tax that pavilion, but that's the max of 75 on that one.
But the Amelia's, they do this all the
Yeah.
time, so they know whatever the rules or regulations are that they might need.
They should know. They should know. So information only, something we have to act on. Okay.
Good food, might have to go.
I'm just playing tennis. You might not have
New business, parks and facilities. Right.
Like I said, I think we covered a lot of this under the earlier portion of the meeting with the tennis courts being, I think, something that I'm gonna put on the high priority list. I am following up with a lot of the infrastructure and work requests that we've mentioned over the last few meetings. Like I said, I think we're a little bit behind as far as staff. I know we were hoping that we're gonna get falling into what's going over off Ice House Road, Echo Lake. The following that is that it was intended to go to Crestbrook. I don't think that it's sustainable to get that thing started and to put it in and out of take it in and out of the pond and make the required electrical repairs. I think that's unfortunately one of the things that the ends don't justify the means. The expenses we given that we will have to make choices as to what we can spend our money on, limited resources. I don't think that paying that kind of electric bill is something that is going to be worth it. So hopefully we'll get the following out at the lake soon enough. I mentioned the landscaping at Crestbrook, and it's at the end of the fiscal year. We're trying to make sure that we get all the things that we need. It gets a little bit hectic when we've got it just you're trying to meet up with contractors, and it takes a lot of time to finish your fiscal year out, and people wanting to deservedly so, myself included, maybe taking a day off or two here and there, so that the weeks get short and then we just run out of time. So unfortunately, as you know, that our budget starts every year. Our next year's budget is going to be very lean. So some of the things that we're doing this year, if there's inflationary pressures, we may not be able to do that. So hopefully we continue to show some growth. I'm making some evaluation of everything every program or special event that we do, including Touch a Truck. I was there to see, okay, can this be expanded? Is it too big? Is it too much, too many resources on it? I also want to report that I'm meeting with some folks at the United Methodist Church here on the corner about potentially having the farmers market be located at their facility. So if that's the case, not sure how much we can do for 2024, but we can certainly, if we get the opportunity for maybe a day or two or a time or two, we have the means to get a hold of some farmers to see if they can be available that day. And maybe some farms bring summer help in at least for a few weeks or a couple of months during the summer. They've got access maybe to college kids. So we'll have to see. But getting a location is the first order of business. Thank you.
Hey Mike, that one flagpole that needs to be put up, the Space Force.
Just gonna.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, we have the sixth flagpole for the military branches of the Veterans Park. And looking at it to make it real simple, I would put it on the left side.
Well, has to go on the right. So I didn't know this, but somebody was telling me the flagpoles are set up as each branch of service was established. So we're lucky because the Space Force, you could do that. Yeah, either or.
You put the pole on the far left. Okay, and now the Army, which was first, goes down.
Yep. So you can put
Navy.
You can put one either left or right. Yes, add one.
That's how I asked, who got first
Yeah.
priority, it went by how the branches of the service, and just put the 6th pole in. Now, everything shifts down one, and the space agency goes on the far right.
And Mike, just for finances, that was a Lions Club project. That was a project that I did when I was president of the Lions Club with Lisa and Craig, her brother. So the Lions Club has funding. If we need money for cement or we need something that can help you move that along.
Okay.
Just let us know.
Okay.
And the Lions Club will support that. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the last thing it's a yearly thing with us with this commission is a letter to the town engineer, the dams. I mean, they did work on the lake. Okay, there's still a couple saplings cut. The overgrowth now in tree saplings at Echo Lake. And I'm sorry I didn't make copies. Several months ago, I gave Mike a newspaper copy of a dam that the state of Connecticut came in and shut down and worried about it down in Shelton area. Mike, we were Shelton.
Yeah.
It was the same thing saying, and that's why the saplings, the roots start getting into the core and it starts separating everything. And that's when they worry about dams. And our town engineer, who works under Public Works, is responsible for making sure that our dams. Crestbrook is taken care of by the maintenance crew of Crestbrook. They clean off the stuff in the spillway and stuff like that. Sylvan Lake has a very small one. If you didn't know where to look for it, you would never know where they stare, and Mother Nature takes care of it. Okay. Everything else in town works good. It just those two, and once a year if they go in with the brush hog and clean everything down. Echo Lake, I call it the bamboo stuff, that invasive species, I call it bamboo. I don't know what the technical name of it is. But now you can see the sapling trees growing out of the dam at Echo Lake. Those are the ones that do the most damage because the roots go down and they infiltrate the base of the dam. So again, the yearly thing, we have a letter sent to the town engineer. Please take care of it.
I don't know, maybe it's just gonna go into new business. I just have a question. Cherry Hill.
I said, in my report, I said Cherry Hill and Jericho. Nothing's been done. I haven't heard anything about Cherry Hill. And the only thing that was done at Jericho Road is his own property. He's done nothing on the top side. And both of those, there's been no movement on either one of them. Okay. Go on to C, gifts and donations.
Nothing to report.
Nothing with that one?
No.
Because I nothing, I'm not aware of any. Most of the time, gifts and donations, Mike has to smile for a camera when he's going to the food and stuff like that. So we see Mike's happy face in the paper, we know he got a donation. I mean, we got a lot of donations. And again, that's why, back to the amount of accounts, you know, they were put in separate for the doggy park. So later on, if we have to do something for the doggy park, we had money that was donated specifically for the doggy park. So we'll go on that. Policies and procedures.
We are working on getting all of them, you know, somewhat at least updated with updated logos and things like that, checking for grammar. I revisited, Joe, thank you for some information. We're just gonna hold off on making it too intrusive or too cumbersome or expensive for people to rent the facility. So Joe said that it showed me where it could cost somebody over $100 and then a certificate of insurance. I don't wanna do that. If it begins to become a problem, we can revisit it. But for right now, I'm gonna just sort of watch and see for the summer and hope everybody behaves themselves.
Okay. And before I ask for adjournment, I want to make a personal statement that Juliana, who is doing a lot of this with setting up the block parties and a lot of the stuff you see here with the flyers and everything, is doing one remarkable job. The lady is really enhanced as far as the advertising and the public relations of what the Park and Rec Department is doing through all, you know, the things that we control. She's doing a very good job and hope we keep her. She keeps it up. Okay, I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second. Just waiting for
All those
you.
in favor?
Waiting for your back.
Aye, those opposed? Any abstentions?
Just stay here all night.
That's my word.
Joe made it, I seconded
A lot
it.
more water lately.
They all that we're on recording.
Until next week, then I.
Yeah, let's go, Pat. Joe moved, I second, 8:12.